Hello everyone. Today we will be reviewing Such, a Silver 1 DPS. The first half of this game is on Widow, and then we switch to Ashe for defense, so if you're looking for advice on a specific character, you can use the timestamps in the description to find it. Without further ado, let's get right into it. We have Ashe Widow, right?
That's right.
Do you remember much about the game? Anything like specific you want to talk about before we get into it? Stuff you want me to look out for? Anything like that?
It's more like a general feeling about the game and not understanding the positioning. Where should I play as a Widow, or like I kind of not feeling the gaming pace of like changing the angles and try to be either like extra safe and not doing much impact.
Yeah, a lot of what we're going to look at, especially with these like hit scan mechanical heavy characters, is going to be your target priority and then your positioning. So like you talked about it, what angles you're on, what you can see. Your mechanics are obviously going to be important because you're playing Widow and Ashe, right? It matters, but that's not really as coachable. So I'm not ever really going to get on you for like, oh, you're missing shots, that's why you lose the fight. There's usually always something you can do besides aim better. Like you could be in a better spot, you could use your abilities better, you could shoot a different target, something like that that'll usually help you. And then of course aim is always like, you can always improve your aim. That's constant. You can just, whether it's aim practice in game, usually just playing more will help you with your aim. Some people like to use outside tools. I mean, it's really up to you. So we will just get into this. Like I said, I haven't seen it at all. And if at any point you like have questions, want to ask me anything, just stop me and say, hey, can we talk about this? I won't get offended. So
Yeah, usually they don't come. Just waiting, because usually they check for Widow and trying to be sneaky about it.
yep, that's fine. Nice shot. Yeah, and I again, like I said, I don't have a lot of tips for aim, but my biggest thing for Widow is just waiting. You've been doing fine. I mean, you've only shot the gun 5 times, so this is kind of getting ahead of myself. But it's really like taking your time with your shots, lining up your shots, and then what I like to do is I'll put my crosshair somewhere and kind of like if someone's strafing me, I'll put my crosshair in one spot and just wait for them to walk into it instead of trying to do like crazy flicks on people's head, right? But so far so good. I mean, you took your time up in the window. It allowed you to get the sim kill. Now you know they have Mercy. If you can shoot the Mercy first, that's awesome, but if she's in a good position, that's going to be hard. So you just take whatever shots you can get, really. And this is a great angle. Nice. So already 2 kills. Very good.
I'm not sure whether should I should tank to charge my ult, or is it a bad idea? This thing, should I like do something else?
So right now the tank is the only one you can see. So it's fine to shoot the tank, but usually the rule is the tank is your last priority. So you're only really shooting the tank if the tank is the only one you can see. But in this situation, you're just trying to get healed. You don't really want to, like, you can't take a risky angle here with 50 HP to try and get a better kill. So it's better to just peek the safer angle, shoot the tank, get healed, and then go back in. And I do want you, I mean, we're not sure, we haven't watched yet, but I am going to want you to stop peeking at some point and make sure you get healed before you peek out again. Because at this point now, you're in a pretty critical threshold where it's like 1 spear will kill you, or like 1 lucky sim orb will kill you. So I want you to, take the time to find your healers, make sure you get healed. If you need to press the need healing key button, you need to do that. Or if you need to use voice chat, you need to do that. But I need you to stop peeking until you get healed. Yep, and now you're fine again. You can go for another angle. This one's also good.
Sojourn will just jump me from that angle.
Yeah, I actually like this one, but you just can't stay here too long. And I think you're being actually a little too conservative. I think you're going to get a shot on the Mercy here, but you can actually swing out all the way to the edge of this, take your 1 shot, and then, leave. If you hit it, great, you get a kill. If you don't, that's fine. It just makes them, that much more aware that you can shoot them from anywhere. They have to be aware of their positioning. So I actually really like this. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so far your aim has been really good for your elo.
I've watched the whole replay, so
Yeah. Yeah, now they have a Hanzo, so you're gonna have a little bit of stuff to think about. You can't just kind of sit and free fire on their entire team as much, because if you stand still for too long, the Hanzo will be able to just I mean, get a free shot on you, basically. That's obvious. I need to go back and watch the last 10 seconds and see if there's anything we could have been doing, because I think we didn't shoot in the last 10 seconds, did we? Maybe a couple times.
Yeah, but not really useful.
Right. So, yeah, at this point, they've kind of realized that, you know, you're on Widow and that they actually have to be careful and maybe not stand in the middle of the open. And so after you stand here for like 2 or 3 seconds and you realize that you're not getting any angles, and it's not even that you're just not getting any shots right now, but they're probably not going to peek you here again. You've killed 3 people here, right? It's probably time to find another angle. So you can try this one. It's only a little bit deeper of an angle, but it allows you to see people who strafe a little bit too far here, or people who strafe a little bit too far out here, right? Like from this angle right now, you could see 2 people that you can't see from the one you're at. Or you can try this one again. I mean, this one's still fine. And then later in the fight, you can't do this one yet, but this is a really, really strong one once your team starts fighting on the point. So I want to see that later, but not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, right here, maybe a little too safe. And I also think you're at a point where you can use your ult soon. Your ult's not super important, honestly, and it really only helps you. So when you're not sure where they are or what angles you need to take, you can just pop your ult. I mean, there's not too much to even talk about with Widow's ult. It's one of the least... Yeah. That's okay, yeah. Get healed before you go again. Try and find your supports. Or find a health pack.
Yeah, I guess.
Right? Like, right...
I'm not used to that.
Yeah, right now, you're kind of just wasting time, right? You're not going for a health pack. You're not trying to peek your supports. You're not even going for a shot. You're just standing here. It's been 5 seconds. I need you to do something to try and get value. Your support comes to you, which might not always happen, right? But this time it did. Right, and again, we're spending time not doing anything. I need you to do something. Yeah, this is better. Your tank just spawned though. It's gonna be a little risky here. And that happens sometimes. I don't think that was a horrible death though. Honestly, I think let's watch this one more time. Yeah, you get comboed a little bit.
Like 2 shots. And I'm not sure like whether it's there like noticed me. I should like get away from that angle when there is Hanzo and like guys with projectiles.
Yeah, the problem is you're probably just spending too much time scoped in without moving. And so what you can do and what you should do, especially against fast moving projectile characters. So Hanzo is going to be the big one, but there's also characters like Mei, characters like Torb, these ones with fast moving projectiles where they're going to be able to easily hit you if you stay scoped in for very long. So what you can do is you can come up here, take 1 shot, maybe 2 shots, unscope. Maybe you can go here for a shot or 2. Maybe you back up and do something else. But you just can't, yeah, you can't stand here, scope in for 3-4 shots because you will die, as you found out. I like the positioning though. I think this is a good angle because what happens is this Lifeweaver is forced to stand out where you can see him to heal his Orisa. So there's 2 situations here, assuming you lived, which you didn't, but that happens. Is that either you kill the Lifeweaver because he has to heal his Orisa and he's standing out in your field of view, or he goes behind cover from you and now the Orisa is not getting healed. Both are good for you. And so being in this position, even though it's a little aggressive, I think it's fine. I think it's a good position. I just think you kind of overstayed your welcome, you know? And at this point, right, when you're in a good position, when you have targets in that position, it all just comes down to your aim, really. And that's obviously not what we're here to coach. You go for this again. I would like to see you try and at least tell your supports you need healing before you go here. So even if you just press, you know, the I need healing button, maybe nothing happens, but maybe your Kiriko turns around, sends you a volley, you know, and then you get back up. Because now you're 80 HP.
Yeah.
And the breakpoint, like Hanzo's body shot does 120. So ideally you want to be at least 121 health so that he can't one-shot you to the body. Because that's a really bad matchup for you if you're under that threshold. So it'll probably be fine because your team is winning this fight without you anyways. I don't think we've really done anything this fight. I mean, we've taken some shots, but it seems like they're going to win without us, and the healing probably won't matter, but it is important. Even if you keep having to say like I need healing, and you're like I've said this 10 times in the first minute, just keep doing it because you need healing, right? Don't be shy about it, or find a health pack if you have to. Yep. Yeah, this is good. Not focusing the tank. And this is exactly what you should be doing. It's all just all on your aim now, but you're doing the right thing. I would just say take more time, like really try and relax. Try and put your crosshair at the head level. I know it's a little hard because you're on high ground, so their heads move a little bit more. But put your crosshair at the head level. Try and relax and wait for them to walk into it. And so a lot of the times, ooh, you need to find some health pack or a support. It's very unfortunate. So knowing the health pack locations is going to help you, right? You have a mega right here.
There, but thought it would be a risky to go there.
Yeah, I see that, but it's you're safe here, right? And they're not usually going to push through this choke, right? They'll be on this side of the choke. And so as long as you stay on the right side of the staircase, you can grab this health pack. It's pretty free. And you can even just jump over here so that they can't see you kind of cross and just come grab this, because you're not doing anything else anyways, right? It's not like you're shooting them right now. It's not like you're leaving the building. Just get the health pack. You can avoid this death. And what I was saying is that most VODs, I will say that like aim is not going to be the thing that really is holding anyone back in rank. And even in this VOD, you've made a couple mistakes that aren't related, you know, to just shoot better. But Widow is the character in the game that is the most reliant on how good your aim is, right? If you can't hit shots on Widow, you can be in the best position. You can be the most knowledgeable player in the game, but you have to be able to click on them at some point. And so your aim is not bad. You've just had a couple fights where you weren't able to really hit your shots, and then the fights went on for too long, and then you lost without really making any positioning mistakes or whatever. Hopefully we get the point here and we get a little bit longer of a first round. Nice shot. Yeah. Thankfully, we're going to get more gameplay. I was hoping the round wouldn't end right there. I wasn't even going to bring it up, but this position, I know you're trying to get the kills here, but it's better for you to play the safer angles and try and contest them when they come around a point. So the problem is they have a Hanzo. Oh, they don't have Hanzo anymore, do they? Yeah, they do. They have Hanzo Torb. And so what Hanzo Torb do is just fire down a line, right? It could be here. It could be like the Torb was doing. It's not going to matter. You guys are going to cap this point. But generally speaking, if there's like a small opening like this one, right, where there's only a tiny amount of space that their projectiles can come through, it's much more likely for them to hit you because there's not a lot of space for you to move out of their bullets. Whereas if you're fighting them kind of in open space, right, if they come through the walkway and you're back here, it's much harder for them to hit you because you have a lot more space to work with.
So cover.
And I wouldn't even say it's exactly cover. I'd just say you don't want to be in a small, like a spam area. I don't really know what to call it, but a place where they're just going to put their crosshair in the middle of this area and they're just going to hold mouse one. They're not even aiming at you. They're aiming at the area and you just walk into it, right? And so as you play the game more and more, you'll figure out what these areas are.
Yeah, I guess it's the same concept in Counter-Strike.
Yeah. Oh, they have Winston now, so your positioning and especially your grapple usage is going to be extremely important.
I've seen him fail.
Yeah.
The window.
And
I'm like scared at this point.
Yeah, I can tell. We're almost halfway through our ult. We haven't peaked. We haven't peaked yet. And the thing is that it's probably good that you haven't peaked because you're in one-shot body shot territory to the Hanzo, but you should at least try and get healed or peek from a different angle, right? Drop out of here completely and try and get this one because you have literal wall hacks. You know where they are and you need to take advantage of it, right? And this is the third or fourth time this game where we've kind of spent 5 to 10 seconds not doing anything. And we want to always be doing something to get value. Safer angle to get healed from. You got to make sure. Yep, perfect. But we just used our entire ult without shooting at anybody, right?
Yeah.
Right. We don't want to do that. We want to avoid that. So next time, you know, when you take damage there, try and get your heal sooner. Try and peek again. Find a different angle quicker. Whatever it is, just try and get value from literally any actions you're doing in the game. It's not just your ult, but don't don't spend 10 to 15 to 20 seconds doing nothing. That's a good way to lose fights.
Yeah, so after I've seen Winston jump into that window, so should I actually at that point try to get healed and pick that window once more? Or
Yeah, so that's what
since I already pressed my ult.
That's what I would have done. I would have, as soon as the Winston messes up his jump, you try and get healed and peek again, because you know the Winston doesn't have jump for 4 or 5 more seconds. And so you know you can take a couple shots here. It is scary against their comp because this is a narrow opening and they have 2 spam characters. So it's going to be easy for them to just kind of spam stuff up in this window and hit you. But you have to go for it because you have literal wall hacks. You know exactly where they are. And so you don't really even have to peek them for long at all. You stand here, you see them through the wall. Let's go back. All you do, you line up your crosshair through the wall. You take a step right, take a shot, step left. It takes half a second if you get the rhythm with it. And you're not really exposed. Like, they have to guess when you're going to pop out and shoot them, whereas you know exactly where they are. And so even if you don't get the healing, if you stand here for 2 seconds and you say, I need healing, and neither your supports look at you, which I don't think is likely because they've been healing you the whole game every time you've asked at least. I think they would heal you, but even if they don't, I would still try and go for some kills here because your ult is helping you out a ton.
Okay, be more brave.
Yep.
I'm seeing Hanzo. I'm here shooting the tree. I'm not sure whether I should have like dropped down and took like the position behind the car or something. I feel like so much useless with shooting the tree.
Yeah. Yeah,
But I don't see anybody else.
We're kind of just wasting time here, so we're not able to really find an angle to shoot them. We tried this one, but this one's a little too conservative. And I know it might be hard to realize in game, but you're not going to see any enemies on your screen unless they are out of position. And you usually don't want to rely on that. So think if you're on the enemy team right now and the cart is right here and you're playing any normal hero, right? Any hero that's not like a flanker, because they don't have any flankers. They don't have anyone who's going to try and go in your backline. Who would want to walk through this choke into an Orisa and 3 other characters? No one, really.
Okay.
So usually you're not going to find anyone here. Even their tank's not going to be here because their tank's going to want to use cover and hold behind this corner. And so this angle is just not good in general. I know you went here to get healed, I think, but it's not a good angle to shoot from. This one is the kind of the default Widow one. But if you're taking too much pressure here, if you try and peek here and it's just Hanzo arrow, sonar, Torb uses something, then you go back to one of these, try and get like a long angle here, force them back behind the cart, force them behind the wall. Just peeking an angle will either 1, give you a kill because they're peeking you, or 2, give your team space because they get out of your angle, right? So if you stand here and their whole team leaves this sight line to go here, it lets your Orisa walk up much easier because she can use the cart for cover now because no one's on this line. So shooting the tree, yeah, not really doing anything. You need to find another angle basically. And even right now, when you're shooting the tree, you could be shooting the Torb. Like as soon as the Torb walked out, you should be trying to shoot the Torb, not the tree. Yeah, so right now, basically.
Yeah.
And by the time we get the tree down, 2 of our team is already dead. The fight's already over, right? I assume Monkey's about to jump up on us. We're probably going to die. Although we have grapple, maybe we get out of it. And maybe their Monkey's clueless and doesn't even know you're up here. But either way, the fight is lost and we haven't done a single thing yet. We haven't even... I don't know if we've even taken a shot at the enemy the whole fight. Right? Like, what are we doing? Where are we going?
I thought I was on a lower level and thought of going behind to take a few shots.
And when you realized that there was nothing to your right here, why didn't you just go here? Why didn't you try and shoot from here?
No idea.
I think you might just be playing a little scared here, right? You took damage up here once and you haven't peeked this window since. And this is a good window for you. Look what would have been on your screen if you had came up here right now. You would have seen this, right? Isn't this good for you?
Amazing.
It's awesome, right? Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy. At this point, we've only had 1 die though. So the fight is still very much going on. Our team's already killed 2. But we haven't even... I mean, we've seen 1 enemy and we haven't shot at them yet. and there's already been 3 deaths on, combined in the fight. This could be a good angle though. You're just gonna have to hit your shots, because you shoot once or twice, they're gonna turn around and they're gonna either try and kill you or try and get away from you or whatever. So this is good for, 1 to 2 shots before it's gonna be hard to get anything from here. Nice, good. That was good. If you're gonna use riskier angles like that, then that's really how you're gonna do it. When they're not paying attention, when they're low health, whatever. Yeah, this is great. I already love this. This is an off angle, and now it may suck because Moira may run up on you and pressure you, but if she doesn't, this is so powerful, because your opponent, they want to focus all their attention in one spot, because it's just easier to react to stuff when you're doing that. And so by you coming up here, now they have to worry about everyone on the cart and you on the high ground, right? And it splits their attention. It makes it much more likely that they're going to make mistakes. It's going to make it much more likely that they're out of position to either you or your team, which results in kills. So this is great. Off angles are awesome. You're too passive though. You need to actually peek out.
I heard Moira, like steps.
Right, but
Sure if the turret is the right priority target here.
well, I would say it is your job to deal with the turret most of the time. This is too, there's too many good targets on your screen, and the fact is you want to use your element of surprise when you peek a new angle. So you haven't peeked this angle yet, right? It stands to reason that they don't know you're here. Why would they know you're here? They have no reason to know. So when you peek this, the first couple shots you're going to want to take at a person, because it's the element of surprise. They're not looking at you, and when they're not looking at you, they're easier to hit because they're not trying to move to avoid you. And so yeah, I think when you get here, I know you hear those more footsteps, but I just swing right and try and take a couple shots on people, and then if they start reacting to you, if they start trying to juke you, if they start, throwing Hanzo arrows that go right by your head, then you can kind of peek this real shallow angle on this turret to where these players can't see you, but you can see the turret, then you can take out the turret. But I would take at least a couple shots at players first. Right now they already know you're here. All right, first round, aside from aim, we're just too passive, and sometimes we stay too long on angles that aren't doing anything for us or our team. And you'll notice that the times you do take good angles, it usually results in better stuff for your team. So when you went here, you got a kill and a bunch of damage. When you went here, almost like it looked like you were able to get a lot of stuff. You didn't really shoot the right target. First fight, when you went on this angle, you get a pick on the Mercy, right? I mean, good things happen when you're taking these off angles, but sometimes you're just too passive. You're standing places that you're not really able to see anybody, or you're just not peeking anyone at all. You're not even on an angle. You're just kind of walking around in a building, or like trying to figure out where you're going. So if you can reduce that downtime, the time where you're not doing anything, even if your aim stays exactly the same, it'll give you more chances to shoot at people, which inevitably, the more you shoot at someone, the more likely you are to hit them. And so even with the same aim, we can get a little more value. Although it is tough on Widow. 80 to 90% of Widow gameplay is just how good your aim is. How about you before I do a recap, how about you tell me what you think maybe the biggest 1, 2, or 3 takeaways from this game that you can work on are, so I can see kind of what you got from it so far.
Positioning myself more more safely, like next to my supports, plus taking sometimes off angles on like most of other maps, but switch that angle quite often because I'm get spotted and usually taken down.
Right, that's good. What about Widow? What are you gonna switch up on Widow to win more games?
My best guess would be to waste no time and actually peek more.
Yes.
Even though it might be riskier, and take like off angles.
Yes. Awesome.
And provide the value, like think of the value every second. I'm like not doing anything that's basically wrong. Not having any objective in the mind. I'm just waiting numblessly for something, and that shouldn't happen like at all.
Right. Reduce your downtime as much as possible. You're either shooting at the enemy, you're either repositioning with a specific position in mind, or you're trying to get, healed, walking to a health pack, walking to your supports. And you're not just standing around waiting for something to happen. You're taking off angles with Widow, not all the time. You don't always need to be on an off angle, but you're taking off angles. You're going for players. I mean, you've got it, dude. I think you just kind of listed out what I want you to work on. And then of course, the biggest thing that I haven't talked about, if you're going to play these characters, you're going to want to work on your aim, because of course that's going to help. Why wouldn't it help? That's the main way that these characters get kills. So that comes in many forms. There's aim trainers in Overwatch.
I'm on it, so I have Kovacs in multi community fundamental stuff.
Yep.
Actually, iron level, so I'm like on that already.
Yep. Yeah, people have different ways to do it. Some people like to use in-game tools. Some people like to use like Kovacs or aim labs, you know, whatever it comes in form, but make sure you're working on something, right? So where you're getting better with the aim, because the more shots you hit, the more games you win. That's basically all Widow is.
Yeah.
I'm obviously not the best example, but
I don't kind of like found this map, but I don't understand it. Why it's like it's not a natural way to move for them? Was it the point of like training this part?
this just gets you comfortable with your sensitivity, so you know how far you have to move in game. So yes, this isn't natural, and I don't like this one either because you're not getting pressured by the enemy. So the enemy is not like shooting you while you're trying to shoot them. I'd much rather someone be like in a death match, or I mean, deathmatch isn't great either because you spend a lot of time walking around not shooting, but it's not very realistic when you know exactly what angle, you know, what path their body's gonna take, and you're not under any pressure. But it does get you very comfortable with how far you have to move to be on top of a target, right? Like, so it's just one option. You need to figure out what works for you.
I have a dumb question. Why high ground is like better than a lower ground?
Couple reasons. So the first reason, and the probably the best reason, is that high ground acts as cover on its own. And so you're like, but there's no cover up here, right? And this isn't a great high ground. Let's use this one for example. You're sitting here and you're fighting a guy who's standing right here, right? And you're on this high ground. If he damages you too much, you go like this, right? And now he can't shoot you. So that's cover on its own. All you have to do is take steps back and you're in cover. And that's probably the strongest thing with high ground, is that you have cover here. Another reason it's good is that a lot of characters don't have the mobility to get up here and kill you. So there are close range characters, like imagine Tracer wants to kill you. She has to find the long way around to get to you. She can't, you know, she can try and like shoot you from down here, or she can try and like blink way back here and get an angle on you. But it's very hard for a lot of characters to get to high ground. Imagine you're playing on Watchpoint Gibraltar. You're playing Ashe on second point and you're sitting on top of the plane and they have a Zarya. Like, what is Zarya gonna do to you, right? She can't get up there. It's very strong. And if you take too much damage, you can just back up and have cover. So those are the two biggest reasons. Another good reason, this one's not quite as good as the other two, but their head hitbox is gonna be easier to hit because their head hitbox turns into the middle of their hitbox, right? So you see how this Winston in front of us, instead of having to shoot at the top of his hitbox where it's actually kind of hard to hit, you can kind of shoot in the middle of his hitbox and you can either hit him in the head, or if you miss his head, you'll still hit him in the body.